Well, good evening. Sorry I've been so quiet all week. I've been cogitating. Plus, there's not actually much to say now. I do tend to rely on getting home and getting my post. A situation which will hopefully soon change. But obviously I need something to work off the back of before I can present a factual video in a normal, sensible way that I do. Sorry, I've been up since 3 o'clock this morning. It occurred to me this morning at about 3:45 actually. I always thought personal vendetta was, like Charles Bronson in Death Wish, or maybe even Bruce Willis, who always seemed to manage to get screwed over even though he wasn't there at the time, and then had to go and fix it. Like one guy, what do you call it? Surmounting all odds and all that. And then it occurred to me that the Chief Constable has acted completely unprofessionally in what he did, which, if you've forgotten, was received a letter from me detailing about 75 criminal offences committed by the council. And I happened to mention the fact that I wasn't paying my council tax because I was banned from contacting the council. So he chose to try and have me arrested for that. None of his council mates, hasn't touched them. As far as I know, he hasn't resigned for this disgraceful act. As far as I know, contrary to my suggestion, he has not reported himself to the PCC. But again, that's where getting home and getting my post comes in. But that really is, isn't it? That's a personal vendetta. Because he's acted completely unprofessionally. He's chosen to go after me, albeit with the help of others, that being the officers he chose for the task of visiting my house that fateful Monday morning. For no other reason than to protect himself and his friends at the council. That's the only reason. And I've been going over this all day long, because one thing I quite often say is that the people at the council think they're above the law. But it's not just that, though, is it? They actually do not consider themselves accountable to the law. I think there's quite a big difference there. Quite a frightening difference, actually, as well. Because if they thought they were above the law, a few of them would have caved by now and gone home and gone, well, no, we better fess up because actually this is a bit naughty. 30 years of theft from the public purse. But what they do is they go home and they think, 30 years of theft from the public purse. Well, I don't have to answer to the police. And I think that's the difference, that remorse, any kind of remorse or guilt, doesn't actually even cross their mind. It's not that they think they should get away with it, that it just doesn't even cross their mind. And I think that's the problem, because these town halls all started in the early 80s. And I think that's the problem we have now with these people. This is the sort of social experiment that failed, really. Because that's what the government would label it as, I think. A social experiment which failed. Although they wouldn't say it's failed yet, because they're quite happy with the council enforcing all the law and just calling on their police mates when required. So actually, when you go in front of these magistrates and stuff and you're being sent to jail for, council tax, TV licence, whatever, you're not even actually getting done for a criminal offence, but you're being sent to jail. And of course, they've always got their G4S dog's body in the court, haven't they? Usually. Or Serco, is it? Are they the same firm now? I don't know. So they sort of gang up on you, about 10 of them, and drag you down to the cells. But all these things people are getting done for, and I'm fascinated to know how you can process a criminal record on that, let alone send someone to jail. But Incredible. I mean, I know Cambridge police carry out personal vendettas en masse, because I've seen my mate Mark sent to prison twice now for offences which, shall we say, were very questionable, lacked evidence, etc. and so forth. I don't believe for a start that he's done half the stuff that they say he's done. But actually, to get the attention of the Chief Constable, fairly impressed with that. Thanks, Adolf. As you'll know, I'm calling the Chief Constable Adolf Wood as a bit of a spin on his real first name, which is Alec. But yeah, thanks, Adolf. I'm honoured, in fact, to receive your undivided attention. Such a pain I must be to your chums at the council offices. However, it does leave one very dark question now that we've established that this is what you're doing. And that's if anything happens to me, or anything happens to my friends or family, or anything happens to anyone I know, then the police will be held fully accountable for it. Because I think it's safe to say we know you want me dead. I mean, maybe that comes after the bit if you get me sent to prison. But I think that's your end game, really, isn't it? Because no one's ever denied that. The amount of times I've said it. So do bear in mind, viewers, if I do disappear, then it is the police's fault. If I have a bad accident, then it is the police's fault. I mean, if I was the police, I'd be trying to organise 24/7 protection for me, really. If you were smart about it. But you haven't managed to be smart about much so far. Anyway, just a suggestion. Obviously, there will probably be more stuff at the weekend. Just wait till I've had a few shandies. I'll get online then anyway. But yes, I shall see you all later. Thank you for watching.